All right, guys. Well, first of all, we got an old Model 3 bender from my buddy. It's JD squared. Model 3, they don't make this one anymore. I think they make a 31 or a 32 or something. Very similar. I think they're just a little bit stronger, a little more precise on the newer ones, but this will be fine for us. Anchored it to the floor. I only had 2 anchors remaining. It's not a permanent anchor. I could take those out, and then there's just flush mount things on the floor, so shouldn't obstruct once I decide to take this down or I'm done with this. Anyway, so the bender's here, and then of course we have 1 5/8 mild tubing. I know people are traditionally here 1 5/8 chromoly and 1 3/4 mild, but this is not an NHRA setup, and I don't even know if I'm breaking any rules for NHRA anyway. But 1 5/8, Art Morrison provided it. It's one of the most common tubes that they use. It's a 20-foot piece. Hopefully we have enough to make it all. If not, I'll go down and get another piece. And then what we did here is we drilled holes through the floor to the metal frame. That's a metal frame there. So we're prepared on both sides. We still got to do the ones in the back, but I'm going to get the main hoop part in. I think might be able to do that tonight, and that'll tell me if I mess up enough to go get another piece of tubing tomorrow. Anyway, you can see it's if you look at those over there, you can see it's fiberglass, wood, and then fiberglass. I don't know what to do after I get the thing in. We might have to fill that in with fiberglass, maybe. I don't think structurally it would hurt anything really. It's just one spot, but you know, we get these welds in and make sure they're good, and then maybe we can just fiberglass and mat and fiberglass over in the hole and then over the top of that. I didn't pull out the carpet because I'm not doing the whole interior, so a hole is a lot easier to figure out what's missing for the guy who does the interior. Anyway, we're just going to run this guy up, so I don't know how easy this is going to be, but this is going to kind of come in at an angle right here to make this gap, and then it's going to straighten out and then go over. So I'm going to do 90s first, and then put a bend in right here, so it's going to come down right in here. See if I'm going to try and make it come down right here and then angle over to there. We'll see. But I had to get the holes cut so I could measure how long my pipe is to cut it, so I could start bending. But anyway, this will be the first one that I've done, so we'll see how it turns out. I'll probably mess up some tubing and go buy some more. It's like $300 for that one piece of tube, so let's hope we don't make any mistakes. But yeah, I'm just going to do up, over, and down, a little bit extra length, and then we'll put the kick angles in custom at the end. You know, we'll measure up or measure down, sorry, and figure out where we want it. Well, cool. If I can leave it like 2 inches long everywhere, until like 2 inches long, I'll be able to cut the angle that those set in, because those are going to be like at a, I don't know, 15-degree angle, so I have to cut the bottoms so they set flush. And then we'll there's enough room in that. That's a 3.5-inch hole, 1 5/8 tubing, so I have about a 1/4 inch of movement, so I can get my MIG torch in there. Another reason why I use mild steel is I can MIG it and not have to worry about TIG, and I don't have to pull the body off to get down to this. The other thing I could have done is went down beside it and made a bracket for it to sit on. But I chose to do it this way, so we'll see what happens. Yeah, there you go. Well, that's what we're doing tonight. And hopefully the 2 anchors will hold that bender, and we'll get some bends in. We'll see. Who knows? Alrighty guys, so I didn't film me bending because I'm not a bender person. I don't really know what I'm doing. I just kind of measured and guessed. I put in electrical conduit before, so I just kind of use the same thought process. That being said, I've got this guy in here. I put a little 10-degree kick on it here, straight up and over. It's 46 inches across, comes straight down, and then a 10-degree kick. So it kind of, because the body kind of slants out. This is about 3 inches high, I think. We're gonna cut it I'm trying to get the owner, Miss Therese, to give me an idea, but you can see that if she wants it that high or not. You can see the frame down there. It's pretty much centered on the frame in both spots. Yeah, there you go. You see that? It's pretty much centered on the frame in both spots. Kind of parallels this, then kicks up, so it's straight up and down here, and then goes across. My head sits about right here, about 2.5 inches below the bottom, top of my head. So if we bring it down 3 inches, it won't look too high, because right now I think it just looks kind of, it'll be right there. You can see how it's a little bit, about 10 degrees off of paralleling the door. So if we, because this is the frame from the front. So I think the thing to do is lower it down about 3 inches. I'm trying to get approval for that, and then I'll tack it in, just tack it. And then we're going to do some kickers from about a little bit below the edge of the thing here, all the way back to this back spot here. Kind of hard to see, I know, but this spot we'll have to drill another hole through, and it'll go to right here. Let's see if I can get this light in here. So if you see that bolt right there, it's the last piece of frame from here to here. It's a little kick-off side. So we'll try and go in a little bit and about that length, that space, which is straight up and over right in there. So yeah, so there'll be 2 kickers. So one kind of right there and down, kind of like that, and then the same thing over here. There'll be one, it'll kind of go across that deal like this, so like that, right across that speaker. But the speaker can go in, it'll be fine. And it'll give the people in the back kind of something to hold on to. The only thing I don't like about it is there's no diagonal. I mean, these will help it from twisting, if you know what I mean. Like if it rolls over, it's gonna want to push one way or the other, and there's no diagonal, so I might have to maybe come, you know, from here down to the center or something. But I mean, this is 100 times better than it was, especially with these kickers in the back. If it rolls, it's not gonna, I mean, it's not gonna crush anybody inside. It's already rolled once, and you know, pretty much they lived, so any extra is better. And this is pretty strong. It's 1 5/8 mild steel from Art Morrison. It's what they make a lot of their cages out of. I know people are going to say stuff about, oh, it should be chromoly or whatever. 1 5/8 because it's smaller. I was going to do chromoly, but it's really hard to bend, like very difficult, I was told. And so went with the mild steel. It bent okay, and you can see all my marks trying to figure out where the lock and the start of the bend and how many marks through the bend and all that kind of stuff. So yep, anyway, there's an update. That's, believe it or not, is like 5 hours worth of work trying to get that measured and cut and lined out, and I think it looks pretty good. You can see that it's somewhat parallel with the front of the window, so that means good. As long as we take the same out of the bottom and look, when we lower it, it'll look really good. And yeah, I don't know, I'm very happy with it. So there's an update on the old Phaeton, and we'll see you next time. Okay, well, let me see if I can show you. So don't judge my welds. I used the wrong wire over there just to tack it. It's all right, I'll clean them up. But got these guys bent. Same thing there. There's a deal right there where we're going to mount it, so I had to slot the tube, which will just give me a little bit stronger grip. And then that guy slots down there like so. It'll sit in there like that. So now I just got to notch that one. It's hanging low right now. It's not actually where it's going to go. It'll raise up a little bit. So a little bit more there. Yeah, a little bit higher, but the clamp's in the way. Actually, I think I can take that out now. Got that one tacked over there, so this will sit up like that. And yeah, a little bit off the way I designed it, but it'll sit just right. You can see the tape mark over there, same as here, height-wise. So I'm just notching them out with a grinder, nothing fancy. And I tried to use this wire because it's 030, and I think it's flux core, and it just messed up. Either that or my gas isn't flowing properly. But it was just tacks. I'm going to make it, first thing I'm going to do is make a little spacer. Got some proper wire here, but my little guy doesn't have a spacer for this. So get this off of there, get this 030 on. I think this is 30 or 35. This is 35, more appropriate for welding. This 060 tubing. Anyway, it's not welded in at all, it's just sitting there locked on that. And that one's same there. Yeah, just in case you wanted to see these terrible tack welds, I'll clean them up. I don't know what was going on. I think it's a flux core wire, but it looks like it wasn't using any gas. So I don't know. I'll check my gas and stuff. Switch to this wire. I just got in a hurry last night, as you do sometimes when you're finishing up for the night. Anyway, yeah, I'll notch that other one, get it welded on. Nothing's welded to the frame, so I'll pull it out, finish weld everything, and then see if she wants me to tack it in or leave it out or what, because once this goes in, it's going to be really hard to do this upholstery once it's welded in. So I'm not sure what she wants there. Anyway, that's what we're looking at. Pretty uniform. Messed up my welds. I forgot to put my glasses on, and my wire speed up too high, so I had to grind a bunch of stuff down, but penetration was good. You can see the welds were good. There was just too much there, and I want them to be prettier than that up where the passengers sit, so I ground them down smooth. Not a welder, fuck you. But see if she still fits now that we welded it in. Oh, let's see here. Set this. Backwards. All right, locked in the grooves, a little bit of movement there, locked in the groove. So, next question is, what do we do with upholstery? So, I don't know whether I should tack this guy in. Oh, here, let's see how it looks. Hopefully it doesn't stick up too high. Looks pretty good. Well, I was kind of in a hurry yesterday trying to get this put together for Miss Therese. So I didn't film much, but basically took the wheel off, bolted the fender back on, just sanded it down just a little bit. You can see in there we got one bolt that pushed through, and so when they do the upholstery they'll have to put that on. But put those guys up in there, side, back, here. These supports are straightened out. This looks bad. I'm going to drill this off today. And this is as straight as we can, but we're intending on replacing that. So here, I put new hardware here because the other stuff was just junk. And then we also got this bent back as best we could. It's not bolted on yet, but the fender fits in there pretty good. And then I put this one back on because I had it. You can see where they welded it, so whoever built this used parts and bent, probably already had bent stuff on there, but they're just to support the deal. Anyway, we're going to put the headlights on. Just across. I don't think I'm going to wire them up. If it's easy, I'll wire them up. If not, then I won't. I'll probably wire them up just so the headlights are on there, but it's just they're gonna have to tear it all apart to do the paint and body. So, and I really don't want her driving it around. I mean, I don't care what she does with it, but it's not good to have it driving it around with all the lights and stuff on. Maybe during the day she can do it, use hand signals, but this one's not going to be wired up because we took it off, filled the holes, and we're going to put them, she's going to put them on the inside, kind of make it look cleaner and sleeker with new paint. That'll look good. Did a little bit more straightening on these. They were looking like they were off. This guy was out of its perch, so we fixed that. That's why it was sitting a little crooked, we found out. And right now we're going to change this leaky gasket. You can see it's an old cork gasket. So we're just going to drain that out and get the cork away. Probably change the filter while we're in there, because the filter and the gasket were, sorry, were 13 bucks. And Chevrolet specs out Dextron 6 for the 1 and the 2s, and this is the 1 and the 2. I did an 80s thing. What do they call it? 13 bolt, I think. I still don't know if it's a turbo 400 or 350. I don't know these cars very much. And I picked up another set of those because I built jumper cables for people one year for Christmas, and I made one for myself, and it disappeared because they're just awesome. One of my kids took them, I'm sure. No problem. And just I'll make some new ones. I use 2-gauge welding flex wire, and I do a 16-foot, 20-foot, so they're super long, and you don't have to get close. Sometimes you get on the one side of the car or the other side of the car. But anyway, I might do a video about that, but because those are AutoZone parts. Can't remember where I left off on the bar, but it's painted. It's painted. It's all ready to weld in once they get the upholstery done. I'll have to weld that in and then put the carpet in. But out of a 22-foot or 20-foot piece of pipe, this is all we have left. So it was just right. One piece was great. I kept all the pieces to go in the floor so that when they do weld that back, they can fiberglass those parts in, cut around, and whatever, fiberglass those parts back in, get whatever structure back they needed. These are the remaining anchors. So anyway, that's what we're got planned for today. Then we're gonna put this guy. So it'll take a couple hours to do all that. Put this guy outside, tarp it up real quick. I've got another project outside on the trailer. We'll get that in here, and then we'll put this on the trailer, because next weekend I think it's going back to her garage. She's looking for quotes and stuff for paint and body, and we'll compare and figure out. She's going to figure out what she wants to do. I don't know if she wants to send it down to Louisiana to do that, or up here locally. Like I said, she's getting quotes, so we'll see what happens. Either way, I think she does want to bring lady lines up to do the pinstriping on the flames and stuff, so we might get to see some more of her. All right, well, let's get to work. All right, well, got the pan off, wiped it down pretty good. Oh, here, sorry, there we go. Got the pan off, wiped it down pretty good. Still got a little drip. did make a hell of a mess. I don't know if there's any way without a drain plug how to clean one of these things up. I think what the problem was is, other than that, was just an old gasket, but this guy right here, this edge, conflicted with the pan. It looks like they just put it on and powered it on because this pan's all, it's hard to see, pan's all fucking messed up there. So anyway, we cleaned this thing up in the parts washer, and I just sprayed it because it had some parts on there that are open metal parts. We didn't want it to rust, not that it was doing that. You can see this guy is ridiculously soaked all the way through. And the filter, this thing is really dirty, but the filter is in that hole. There's nothing back here, so it's like it sucked it that way or something. Well, anyway, we got our, it's a 13 bolt. I guess that's how they designate one from the other. What do I know? This bolt goes through the filter. Filter is loose in there all the time. It just rattles around. But it does have this O-ring kind of rubber seal right here that goes on the pickup tube. So even though it's flip-floppy around in there, it's the way where they designed it. Anyway, I'm not a Chevrolet guy, but that's what I've read up on. So there you go. It's pretty clean in there. It was dirty in the pan. You know that dust, no metal or anything, just like clutch dust. So I don't know. There's where we're at. We're gonna let that dry for a minute. We're going to take a break, let that dry, and then get her back together. All right, we got ground this lip down so we had clearance. I think that's what was causing the leak. You know, I got the new rubber gasket in, pan cleaned out. We painted it just for coverage. Didn't paint the bolts. Cleaned them up though. And now we will use a paint filter out that transmission fluid. It looked fine. And fill her back up and get those lights on. Oh, it should be all right. All right, got the lights on. It only took a few minutes. They lined up pretty good. Had to do a little bit of, I wiped them all off a little bit, but yep, had to do a little bit of filing just to get the holes directly. And they're just roughed in, they're tight and everything, but they'll need to be, you know, all this stuff needs to be fixed. Body work and stuff, they'll have to get these down to the, so there's a lot of work here for the body man. But it does bolt together. I still got to get that piece of that trim piece off right there, and then push this down a little bit. It's got a little bit of bend, so we'll straighten that out, and I think that'll be the last thing that we do. Then we'll pack all the parts up in the car, put the roll cage in it, and then tarp it up and get it ready to transport. Yo buddy, finally. It's a good bit of work. I didn't wire the headlights. It's just a mess up here. It needs to be rewired. The headlights from the point of, from the bus bar back, you know, so there's only one connection. Somebody's messed with them 3 or 4 times, so they're cut up pretty good. Anyway, and she might think about going with some, well, that's angled back a little bit. Huh, interesting. Wow, I didn't notice that. That bar is actually bent a little bit. I don't know if that's adjustable. Yeah, that's adjustable. Never mind. Just out of adjustment. It's not the bar bent. She might think about going with some LEDs. I don't know. You can get those 6.5, 7-inch rounds in LEDs. They look pretty cool when they're on because they're sharp. But we got these tailpipes adjusted a little bit more, and yeah, we're about as far as we can go. Well, we are as far as we can go. So, yep, cool. Next one you'll see is loading this guy up on the trailer, getting ready to transport. She's got a couple quotes in, and so see what happens. All right, guys. Well, it's all packed up, ready to go. I did change the transmission fluid. I'm sorry, transmission pan gasket and filter, so I just topped off the fluid. Idling nicely, fans on. Charging. thing I don't have loaded is this. I'm gonna go ahead and get a, I might just put that in there, we'll see. And this fiberglass hood. Still trying to get a metal hood, so we'll see. Anyway, we're gonna back her out, get the trailer emptied. Trailer has got a taffer on there. We'll get that in the garage and get the car loaded up and tarped up. All right, ooh, look at that brightness. I'm gonna trim that off. Okay, look at there. All loaded up, strapped down. I'm gonna put a tarp over it and bag the carburetor. But it's ready to go. Well, as soon as we get the okay to drop her off, it's going home. Probably should have cleaned it up, but never washed it. It's been here a year. All right, here we go. All the stuff's in the back. Oh, yep. There we go. The end of that one. Well, maybe we might have to go to wherever she decides to get it done. Paint, body, and interior, and all that. We might have to go to help advise putting it back together so that they don't overcharge her. Because I mean, it's pretty obvious stuff, and stuff that they're gonna have to take apart anyway to get paint done. But sometimes people are that way. Anyway, there we go.